Okay, so real quick review for XXX 3, The Return of Xander Cage, which I recently watched on DVD I got from the library because, hey, it's free. Um, so, back when I was a kid, or a teenager, I guess you could say, I saw the first XXX and I thought it was pretty cool. However, gradually as I got older, I realized one key thing about the original XXX movie, which is how hardcore it pandered to my generation. XXX was never his own type of cool. He felt like a clearly marketed type of cool. Like he did extreme sports because that was popular at the time. He didn't smoke or drink or do drugs because those things weren't cool at the time. And he did and like you look back on it, and it's so obviously pandered and marketed and possibly even like focus grouped into being as cool as possible. And XXX 3, Return to Xander Cage, totally continues that trend. Picks up on all the stuff that they already developed for Xander Cage, which to be fair, gotta respect them for at least keeping their shit for him, even though it's a new decade and things are a little bit different and what's cool or not cool now. Uh, but the other thing it appears to be is heavily into is how can we be as cool at how the movie also seems to think that we can essentially take what made the Fast and the Furious movies into a successful franchise and transplant that over onto XXX. Because how the Fast and the Furious became all about a team and a family and all these different personalities working together, that's essentially what XXX wants to be now. So yeah, the focus is still Vin Diesel, and he gets top billing. Even though there are several big name actors in this movie, besides him, none of their names are on the front of the box. Just just Vin Diesel. And like, here's the thing: XXX, for a movie that is so much about extreme sports and stunts and action, is so goddamn safe. It's such a goddamn safe movie. It's it's like it's grilled cheese. This is a grilled cheese movie. It's there, you know exactly what it's going to taste like. You either love it or you already hate it. And if you love it, you're going to enjoy it and you're going to sit there and you're going to watch it. Here's the thing. It's exactly that safe. It's exactly that boring. It's exactly that predictable. Even its twists are ridiculously obvious. You know how here's how you can figure out what the twists are. What is the twist that would make the most people happy? That's the twist we're going to use. And I'll get into that in a little bit more in the spoilers. Do you care what the story of this movie is about? It's nonsense. It's not really nonsense. Essentially, there's this thing called Pandora's Box, which allows you to weaponize satellites that are floating in the sky. And of course, someone's gotten a hold of Pandora's Box, and they're crashing satellites and killing people. The movie opens up by doing what seems like a bold move, but honestly, even to me, felt cynical, where they just kill Samuel L. Jackson right off the bat by dropping a fucking satellite on him. Which honestly felt cynical. I mean, like, I get it as a plot point to bring back Xander Cage, but it feels goddamn cynical and obvious. And then there's a twist that's related to it, which, if, just by mentioning it, should have given you away the twist to it. So let's get into the movie. The movie has an impressive diversity of the cast, which once again reminds me more of The Fast and the Furious, and this film's blatant, almost cynical attempts to market itself to foreign audiences, which incidentally must have worked because that's where almost all the movie's money came from. In America, this movie only made about a little over $40 million at the box office. Overseas, made over $300 million. So, and it only cost $80 million. So even though it bombed here in America, we may actually see XXX 4. And hopefully it'll build off of this shit somehow in a way that's at least as entertaining as some of the later Fast and the Furious movies, which are ridiculous, but still entertaining. So the movie featured... Here's one of my major complaints about the movies. Essentially, there's evil XXX team and good XXX team. Evil XXX team. And essentially, evil XXX team has like 2 Asians on it, and good XXX team has 1 Asian on it. And my complaint here is the fact that evil XXX team gets Donnie Yen and Tony Jaa, criminally underutilized Tony Jaa, although it is fun to see him play against type. I've never seen him play a character like that before, although I have not seen all of Tony Jaa's movies. And the good XXX team gets Chris Wu, who is a DJ or some shit. I don't know. His role in the team appears to just have comedic banter, with the stunt driving guy, whose thing is that he Snapchats about all his crashes, and has a rugby mouth guard that's important to him for some reason. They're not well-defined characters. They're just enough to make them likable to an audience. And fun fact, if you can have characters with a quick, witty repartee, congratulations. Hollywood has already discovered these characters do not need character development. Audiences will assume if they're laughing at their witty repartee, that's enough character for them. And it's got Ruby Rose in it, who I enjoyed in John Wick 2. But I will say, at least in this movie's credits, at least I believe she can kill people in this movie. She actually kills quite a few people in this movie, compared to how many people she kills in John Wick 2, which, even though she's an impressive fighter in that movie, doesn't kill anybody. Here she's a sniper. Because the team needs a sniper, I guess. I don't know. I could comment on her gender fluidity being another part of the cast's diversity, but like, who gives a shit about this movie's diversity, since it feels so cynically marketed? And it really does. It feels like the movie is pandering both to my generation and the post-millennial generation. What are they? Zennials? Generation Z? Something? I don't know. The point... Does it alarm anyone we've run out of alpha? We started so low at the alphabet that we've run out of them now. That's not a sign of the apocalypse, is it? But okay, so I'm just gonna wrap up the basics on this. It's dumb. It's action-packed. A lot of the action although a lot of the action sequences feel kind of fake. It feels like it's pandering to us. Like, one of the characters is this hacker girl who's also like the girl who can get you anything you need. Tries to tell Vin Diesel she can get him weed while desperately flirting with him. And I don't know. It's painfully, cynically obvious filmmaking. I give it... It's not completely devoid of entertainment, but God, is it dumb. And there's so many better... If you have not seen John Wick or John Wick 2, both better than this. Like, hands down better than this. I'm tempted to give it a 5 because it's not unwatchable. I'm going to give it a 4, though, and I'll explain in the spoilers why. So, like, subscribe, notifications, all that stuff. Let's talk spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay, so here's my major problem with the last part of this movie. Is the major twist in the movie is that the evil XXX team is actually a XXX team that was put together by Samuel L. Jackson, and they're actually out to get the guys who really stole the device. Here's the real problem with that. Here's how to figure out who the real bad guys are. If a character is uninteresting and very uptight and not totally interesting as a character, they're probably evil. Anyone who looks remotely uptight or wears a suit and tie, probably bad. They're the bad guys. So you already spotted the only person who's allowed to wear a suit in this movie, Samuel L. Jackson. Anyone else you've seen in a suit is a bad guy. Pretty much, period. Because that's pretty much what happened. Turns out Tony Collette is the bad guy. And the one general guy is also a bad guy. Because, the establishment characters can't be the good guys. They gotta be the bad guys. It's XXX. And even though XXX is a spy movie, Spies. These spies aren't part of that establishment, man. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, that's just the voice that Triple X makes me think of. Because that's how fucking stupid it is. The real problem with this is that everyone on the bad Triple X team, who later turns out to be good, is way more interesting than Toni Collette's character or this nobody CIA agent who's just painfully obvious. Like, Hollywood needs to get this. Compelling antagonists are essential for film. A good bad guy makes your action movies work. That's what makes us care about their plot. Any bad guy can have a plot, but only a cool, developed villain who we almost want to like or hate so much it feels good to hate them can truly drive a film. There are minor exceptions to this when films compensate in other ways, but generally speaking, that's how you make a villain. And that's what this movie does not have. So the bad guys who were interesting become the good guys who are also interesting. Essentially, if you liked a character or thought a character was kind of cool in some way or fun, guess what? They're going to be in the good guys team. None of them are going to die. At the end, the twist is at the end that Samuel Jackson is alive. Oh, and so is the soccer player or football player. He was interviewing to become a Triple X at the beginning of the movie. They're both alive. So only bad guys die. There are no chances. Everything. Oh, and Ice Cube shows up because just like the Fast and the Furious had to tie in Tokyo Drifts, this movie feels it has to tie in the awful Triple X middle movie. So yeah, that's why I give it a 4 instead of a 5. Even though it's got some entertaining, watchable stuff in it, it's just lame. It's just this. It's just bland. It's bland. Never before has a movie tried to be so cool that it has been so middle of the road. You see, cool isn't just an attitude or an atmosphere. It's how you actually tell the story in these types of films. And this movie doesn't. So there's that. All right. That's really all I have to say about XXX, The Return of Xander Cage. It's kind of worth it for free, but I wouldn't pay money for it. Unless you're a super, super big XXX fan. In which case, grab yourself a 6-pack of muscle milk, grab yourself a Sobe energy drink, some muscle milk, and you sit down and you watch XXX get all up in there. Everyone else, why the fuck haven't you seen John Wick and John Wick 2 yet? Alright. Thank you, Internet. Like, subscribe, notifications, comment, etc. Goodbye.